It is the 17th of September, year of our Lord 2025. Man, it's been a long time since I opened a show. Thank you so much, Sheepdog, for letting me take the pedestal for a minute. I am so excited about our show tonight. You know, that the pray in here was all about getting in a frequency of health. A frequency of health. So in my house, my frequency of health is supported by the fact that I have to muck stalls and move hay and manage chickens and chase shepherds and of course succumb to the will of the Chihuahua. And then there's the humans that I deal with. So we live in a health related environment in our house, and I am very proud that Diana and Kristen and Kim, shortly once her computer reboots, will be here to talk to us about a health message tonight. I'm excited about this. So I Diana, would you like to open up and talk about how we got here? Because I'm excited about this show.
Sorry. This is actually Kim's part, so I'm going to go ahead and do her part until she jumps on. Her computer is really, really slow. But we just want you guys to know, first of all, how much we appreciate this platform. We're excited to be on with all of you. Kristen and I are known as the Mushroom Ladies. Kim is our Mushroom Lady in training. Kim is part of this community and has been from day one. She can be seen in all the rooms as Nature Girl. And it's very exciting because she brought us to this community. I had followed Mike for a long time and then got to know all of you. And I'm enjoying so much working with Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog and Gandalf. And I love the Grand Rising every morning with you guys. It's really special. And I want you to know that I am certified in holistic pet care. Kristen is certified in mycology. I am certified in CBD for animals and people, and we're both certified in nutrition. So we have a mission, and our mission is to keep our furry family members around longer, to keep ourselves around longer. You know, Kristen and I have a saying: if nature didn't make it, don't take it, and quit dealing with the dealers and start dealing with the healers. And I think those are two really important things. If nature didn't make it, don't take it, and quit going to the dealers and start going to the healers. I think those are two really, really strong things if you can take away from this. So I first want to just talk about our partnership with Gandalf and the Sheepdogs. We're here to help all of you. We're here because we believe in what you're doing. We appreciate how hard it's been for you guys to pick up the reins and start this platform and do everything that you do. We know it's expensive. We've got a couple things going on this week. We're going to be doing a contest. We want everybody to submit testimonials of what has happened with the use of this product, so that we can start sharing these testimonials, because these testimonials are really, really important. So ordering from the Sheepdogs or from GandalfPets.com, we have GandalfPets.com, we have the SheepdogsPets.com, will benefit this community in many, many ways. We have the link for Gandalf and the link for the Sheepdogs. And we want you to know that we're committed to this community. We're committed to do whatever we can to help it be healthy and thrive. And we ask you to just redirect your spending. You know, why are we giving money to the big box stores when we could be giving it to small USA-based patriotic companies that are trying to just make a difference? And today we're here to educate. We're animal lovers. We're pet parents. We want our furry family members to stay around. And we are just so proud of all of you and your team and what you've done. Before we start, I need to share my story. And, you know, sometimes I find myself sharing this story all the time. And every now and then I'll say, oh, I shouldn't share it. You know, it's just too much. But then we get a phone call from someone that says, I heard your story. Can you help me? Or because I heard your story, this happened for me. And I've realized how important these stories are. So I'm going to keep it brief and quick. 2020 I had known about this product. I had known about mushrooms. I knew what mushrooms could do for us. I knew that they were proven medically, and but I really hadn't done a whole lot for myself with mushrooms. I was diagnosed with colon cancer in February of 2020. It was a crazy time because the world had shut down, and I had nothing in my toolbox except my faith and this crazy little green bottle of Coriellus versicolor mushroom. I took 10 a day for 30 days. For my size person, 3 would have been normal. I took 10 a day. 30 days later, I got that phone call. Come on in. You've been approved for surgery. The board obviously deemed me worthy to live. And we need your blood work to do your pre-op work. Went in for pre-op work, got a call about 14 hours later that they wanted to do an emergency video conference with me. Remember, this is during pandemic. Nobody was meeting in person. On the screen was my very handsome oncologist with a big smile on his face. And he said to me, "What are you doing, Diana?" And I just thought that was so bizarre. Like, what do you mean, what am I doing? I'm trying to stay alive. I'm hoping this tumor doesn't rupture. I'm packing a bag to go to the hospital. I don't quite understand the question. And he smiled and said, "You're in remission." And, for anybody who's had cancer, when you hear those words, they're good words. But honestly, I really didn't know what it meant. And I hear this from a lot of people. They really don't know what it means either. Almost every cancer has a marker that the doctors use to measure your progress. The marker for colon cancer is the CEA number. My CEA number was off the charts, but that day, 2.5 is healthy. That day I was 0.05. And again, my doctor said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm taking the Coriellus versicolor mushroom. It's a mushroom with 400 medical studies in China and Japan. In Japan, it's actually an approved protocol for the big C." And the saddest part was that he said to me, "I don't know anything about this." And this is an oncologist, guys. This is a guy who does this for a living. But he didn't poo-poo it. He said, "Continue to take it. We still need to get this tumor out. We need to get you in the hospital. And we're probably going to need to do chemo because you have a very aggressive cancer." Well, my husband and I had said no chemo. We had already said that. We had planted our flag. But my father always said, do your research and don't have your flag planted so deeply that you can't move it if it deems to be moved. And honestly, when I saw the reports, when I saw the results, when I saw the test studies, that my type of cancer, my exact situation, had a 40% chance of reoccurrence without chemo, a 10% chance of reoccurrence with chemo. I couldn't take that gamble. But then I saw a study from MD Anderson and Sloan Kettering that showed how the Coriellus versicolor mushroom, we're back to that green bottle, actually complemented people going through chemotherapy. So that was my sign that I needed to move forward. I did 6 months of hard chemo. During that time, I never threw up. I did not lose my hair. In all fairness, the drug I took only had a 50% chance of hair loss, but a 100% chance of hair thinning. That didn't happen. What I learned during that time was that the support to the immune system that my body was given, because this mushroom does nothing more than support the immune system, allowed my body to go back to where it should have been before it was compromised and I got diagnosed with what I got diagnosed with. My body was able to repair, replenish, rebuild, restructure, do everything it was meant to do as it was being ravaged. So during this whole journey, Kristen saw me. She knew me then. I didn't look like a patient that was going through chemotherapy. I didn't feel like it. I had some bad days. It wasn't all unicorns and rainbows. There were some real bad days. But the majority of my days, I looked pretty doggone good. But the beautiful part was at the very end, 1 year later, my body and my numbers were better than they were before. I went through this whole thing. Most people that go through chemotherapy, they need years to rebuild. They look depleted. They look pale. They look pasty. I wasn't that way. And it was because my body was just given the God-given support from this mushroom. And we're going to talk a little bit about these mushrooms. And I just want anyone out there that might be dealing with this to please feel free to email us and let me talk with you. Let me help you through the process. I've been there. We can pray together. We can cry together. We can whatever. I can tell you this is a mission for me. I feel like God did this for me, not to me, so that I could share this. We work with a couple of mushrooms, and I'm going to turn it over to Kristen pretty soon, who's going to just, kind of really dive into mycology and the study of mushrooms. We work with the Coriellus versicolor, as I said, 400 medical studies backing up what this can do for your immune system. We also work with the reishi mushroom. The reishi mushroom is great for blood pressure, for cholesterol, for heart, and we've added that to our yellow bottle, the Enforce Plus. And then we work with the maitake mushroom, which is the liver and pancreas support. Now, this is interesting because at the end of my journey, they did some testing on me, and what they found was that I had a spot on my liver. And they said, well, we're not going to do anything for 3 months. We're going to just let your body repair and heal. Well, I wasn't going to just let that happen. So I immediately started taking this product. 3 months later, when they tested my liver and they tested my kidneys and they looked for the spot, it was no longer there. Go figure. We also work with the shiitake mushroom, which is great for viral support. And we work with the lion's mane mushroom. This is really exciting because in 2024, the medical world actually linked the brain to the immune system. That was a huge, huge win for medicine because up until that point, they said one had nothing to do with the other. Now they were finally saying, yeah, the immune system has something to do with nerve and brain support. And what we're seeing is amazing results with seizures, with Parkinson's, with dementia, so many things that it's life-changing for some people. So what I want to do is I want to turn it over to Kristen, and Kristen's going to do a deep dive and talk a little bit about mushrooms in general and what they can do for us.
Wait.
Wait.
Before you move, will you answer this question for me?
Yeah.
So it's on the screen. I heard you say about 8.5 minutes ago.
I see it.
So you said this works with chemo. What if you're in the middle of this same tipping point process you were in, and you have far outlived your life expectancy? What if your doctor says, "Oh, well, that's hoo-ha"?
Yeah,
how do you overcome
really
that?
Great. Excellent question. I get this a lot. So my doctor has been a champion of this. And what he has educated me on is never to ask your doctor for permission to take anything that is not a prescription, because they, by law, cannot tell you yes. They cannot. They could lose their license. They can lose their practice. They could their insurance, everything. So here's what my doctor told me to say, and this was off the record, and it's brilliant. Doc, I'm going to give you some information on this mushroom. There are 400 medical studies, including the ones from Sloan Kettering, about how this works with chemotherapy. I'm going to take this because it's just a whole food, and I want you to look at the studies and tell me if you have any problems with it. That lets them off the hook. It lets them off.
Answer.
Yeah. Because they can't say yes.
So what Diana just said is that the doctor is not the boss. And so taking control of your health might include going and buying some of this stuff. And if you do so, please do so from either Sheepdog or us, or anybody, really. I just want you to be better. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I've been in the health industry for 35 years in one form or another. You know this. And people are afraid of challenging their doctor. Mm-hmm. And I'm proud of you for overcoming that.
Thank God I have a doctor who really has helped educate me. And the fun thing about my doctor, he's getting ready to retire, and he's going to be opening a holistic Big C treatment center, and has asked me if I will work with him on some of the protocol with the mushrooms, which I'm really, really happy to hear that he's so open-minded. But it is important that we take our own health into our own hands. And this is nothing more than a food, nothing more than a food. So why would the doctor say no other than being ignorant or feeling that he can't say yes? So hand them the studies, tell him where he can look at the studies, tell him you're going to take it, tell him if he has a problem with it to get back to you. Most doctors aren't going to get back to you because they're not going to do the research. And if they do, good for them. And they'll find that it is okay. So I'm going to turn it over to Kristen now and going to do a deep dive into mushrooms. I'm going to put my little avatar up here.
Yeah, and like Diana said, it's just a whole food. It's no different from eating a mushroom on a salad. That's like asking my doctor, hey, can I eat a salad? Is it okay if I eat a salad every day? Like, it's silly when you think about it, right? But we are so conditioned with a lot of even the natural supplements that we take. We're so conditioned that we have to get this okayed. We have to get this okayed. Whereas, like Diana said, most doctors are trained in medicine. They're not trained in nutrition. So they're not allowed to give nutritional advice because that's not where their training is. So it's not even, necessarily a bad thing on their part. They're just following their own restrictions. And so that's why I love Gandalf and the Sheepdogs and shows like this that are educating people, giving us back our sovereignty, putting our wellness and our well-being into our own hands. And we're not going to the doctor, from an inferior, superior position, but we're going to a doctor from a partnership standpoint, from let's partner in our health together, right? And let's make decisions together on what's best for me. Does that say asking for a basement dwelling gamer? Who said gamer may or may not be on this broadcasting right now. But so I get a little nerdy right now, which is my favorite part. Like I said, I'm certified in mycology, and I really picked up an interest for mycology. And for those of you that are wondering, what does mycology even mean? Myco is the mushroom, and ecology obviously is a study of. So it's just a study of mushrooms. But I watched a documentary called Fantastic Fungi. And when I saw that and I realized how intelligently designed everything is, which I had already known, I'm a believer, and I already known how amazing and majestic and intelligent creation is. But to see science now being able to measure and understand it more and to help us understand it more, how there's this entire mycelial network that covers the entire earth, that 80% of every step that we take, we're stepping on that mycelial network, that the air is surrounded by mushroom spores, the air that we're breathing in. And when I learned that this mycelial network functions very similar to the neural network in our own brains, communications wise, so it has all these symbiotic relationships called mycorrhizal relationships with plants and insects and animals, and it's communicating with nature and passing resources through this mycelial network. There's a tree over here that sends out the impulse that I need more carbon. And then there's a tree over here that has extra carbon, and the impulse will travel through the mycelial network to this tree, and the tree will go, oh, I have extra carbon. It will send it through the mycelial network to the other tree to help the other tree. It's unbelievable the way that it works together. And it's really interesting because for a long time, we thought that, or we just kind of lumped mushrooms and molds and yeast, all of the fungal world in with plants. There were always plants and animals, flora and fauna. And it wasn't until 1969 that the kingdom fungi became its own classification, because it is distinct. It does have separate elements that make it specifically fungi. And I love what Gandalf just said. You would think that they would share predominantly its DNA with plants, that its DNA would be closest to plant DNA, but it's not. Fungal DNA is closest to human DNA, which would send me, if we go into that will send me down a whole other rabbit hole that we don't have time for. But just know that it is intelligently designed. It is intelligently created. It is everywhere abundantly all around us. We're consuming this and breathing this anyway. So the more that we're learning about the benefits of mushrooms and how it interacts with the body, and all of the similarities between the DNA of mushrooms and the DNA of humans, it's becoming more abundantly clear that this was created as a way for the body to function optimally, for people, animals to consume, to help the body function more optimally. And when you look at the fungal kingdom, it is the Earth's most diverse realm. It truly is, because it covers most of the Earth. And even though we don't have an exact number, we know there are anywhere between 2 to 4 million fungal species. We've only classified 120,000 of them. That's how much more there is to explore. That's how much more diverse it is than we even know. So there's so much yet to be uncovered. Now, that being said, when we are looking at specifically mushroom products to take for ourselves or maybe to give to our pets, there are some things that you want to look for because it's so diverse. There are so many different types of strains. Not only are there different species, but then within each species, there are different strains of it, and there are different levels of purity. Sometimes they could have metals or radiation in them. And on top of that, there are different extraction processes that manufacturers use to get different components or bioactive compounds of the mushroom into the body for whatever intended purpose. So it's so important whenever you're taking any type of mushroom supplements that you're using pure and tested strains that are rigorously and regularly tested for purity, just to make sure that they're safe and that it's a quality strain. For example, the mushroom strains that we use with our company have 3 certificate of analysis on every single batch as we go through the manufacturing process. We get it certified 3 times so that we know that it's pure. We know that it's consistent. We know the potency of it. That's why we're getting the positive results, and all of these testimonials that are coming in is because purity matters more than anything. Now, on top of that, the potency of the independent strain is also important. And so we've selected particular strains that we exclusively have. Nobody has access to these strains because of their high potency and their proven effectiveness in supporting wellness. On top of that, we have perfected the extraction process, and we used really advanced methods, particularly with the Coriolis versicolor mushroom that Diana was talking about, what she took when she was dealing with that challenge. We extracted at the mycelial phase when it's still a little baby. Most manufacturers will process it or extract it at the fully fruited phase because there's more biomass, there are more beta glucans, which are great. But if you're looking for particularly immune support, when you're extracted from the mycelial phase, it's rich in the polysaccharide crestin and the polysaccharide peptides, the PSP and the PSK. And those are really what act as the catalyst for the immune system. And there's also another really incredible element called spermidine, which is a polyamine found in the mycelial phase of the Coriolis versicolor mushroom that helps with cellular repair and DNA repair and mitochondrial function and even autophagy, the body's own autophagy. So we use really advanced extraction methods that we've been using. This is not new for us. This is not just a trend. We've been doing this for over 20 years now. So we know exactly what we're doing, and we know how it works, and we know why it works. And that's why we're getting such fantastic reports back. On top of that, we really intentionally formulate our products with trace minerals that are designed to make sure that the body's fully absorbing and utilizing all of those beneficial compounds that are in the mushrooms. So all of our products, they're rooted in nature, but they're also backed by science. It's measurable. It's something that is consistent, that we know is working. We know why it's working, and that's why it's making the impact that it's making. We combine that traditional wisdom. These are mushrooms that have been used for thousands and thousands of years, my friends. In ancient Egypt, called it the mushroom of immortality, or the mushroom of youth. In ancient China, called it the mushroom of immortality. So these are things that we've been using for thousands of years, but we back it with modern research so that you can get a natural solution that you can trust. And of course, all of our mushroom strains that we use are safe for both pets and people. So we can even give it to our pets and they can take advantage of those different things. Now, if there is an allergy to mushrooms, that is the only thing you have to look for, especially with the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. It's no different from eating a mushroom on a salad. You can't get addicted. You can't overdose. It doesn't interact with any medications or treatments, and there are no side effects. But if you are allergic to mushrooms, you might have a reaction to it. So we do have some people that have been allergic to mushrooms, but really want to try to start taking it. It depends on what type of reaction that you have and how severe it is. But there are some tests that you can do. You know, it comes in little capsules with the powder inside. You can kind of open those up, touch your skin, see if you have any reaction, maybe put a little bit of the powder on your lip, see if there's any reaction, place a little bit of the powder on your tongue. And we've had people that have kind of weaned themselves onto it, because the interesting aspect of it is that the immune system is what helps the body with allergies. For example, before I started taking the Inforce, the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, I used to take an allergy pill almost every single day because I'd get really bad sinus allergies and I'd get sinus infections. And I took an allergy pill almost every single day. Since I've been taking the Inforce, it's been 5 years and I haven't had one single allergy pill. My husband was allergic to pomegranates for years, and unknowingly, he ate a salad that had pomegranate in it that we had no idea, and he didn't have a reaction to it. So I'm not saying that, oh, if you have allergies, this will get rid of it, because it is based on your own immune system. This isn't a cure for anything. It doesn't mitigate, it doesn't prevent, it doesn't treat anything. It's truly just a whole food that feeds the body, feeds the immune system, gives it the optimal support that it needs. And then the immune system is what goes in and repairs, recovers, rebuilds, rebalances, regulates everything that's happening inside of the body. So it will be dependent on your own metabolism and your own immune system. But we do have people that have had an allergy to mushrooms that were able to wean themselves onto it. Diane, I don't know if you want to share Angie's testimony.
Yeah, I was sitting here going, oh, I have to talk about Angie. So Angela was severely allergic to mushrooms. She also had one of the worst cases of rheumatoid arthritis I've ever seen in a young person. She was 40. And poor thing could not get up in the morning and move for 2 hours. So we talked with her doctor. Her doctor felt that her allergic reaction was worth the challenge. It was just breaking out in hives. It wasn't anaphylactic shock where we would have to, get her to the hospital or do Benadryl. And she slowly weaned herself. We started with like a quarter of a capsule. No reaction. We went to a half a capsule, no reaction. Anyhow, we worked her up to 4. And within a month, her husband said, wow, you're not taking naps anymore, because she was taking a nap every day and she didn't even realize that she had stopped taking naps. But then about a month later, I got this incredible call from Angela early in the morning, like 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. And she said, hi, Diana, it's Angela. And I said, how you doing, Angela? And she said, I'm good. I'm at work. And I'm thinking, why is she telling me this? And then it hit me. It's 8 o'clock in the morning and you're at work. She said, yes, not only am I at work, because I can get here at 8 o'clock because I'm not going through what I had to go through to get moving. But I've had every ring resized because I'm no longer swelling. She's 4 years down the road, has not had one flare up. So yeah, if your reaction is not something life-threatening, of course, talk with your doctor, but it's worth weaning yourself on it, because the purity of this and the potency of it is, I think, very different than what we're just getting at the grocery store and chomping down. Sometimes it's the butter, sometimes it's the stuff that's on the mushrooms. But anyhow, Angela's a great testimonial for someone who is highly allergic.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to share, if we have time, I just wanted to share what happened with myself, because a lot of times people hear that this is immune modulating. And when you're dealing with like autoimmune conditions or those types of things, a lot of times they'll put you on an immunosuppressant to keep the immune system from rearing up and attacking even the healthy processes and even the healthy cells. And what's interesting about the Coriolis versicolor mushroom that they found in so much of these studies, that again, you can access these, they're all available online. Many of them are published in the National Library of Medicine, oddly enough. But what's interesting about this mushroom in particular is it does not boost the immune system. It does not stimulate it. It modulates it. It supports it. So I myself was dealing with something for years. I had no idea what it was. I was losing weight, losing my appetite. I'm 5'9". I was down to 104 pounds. So I pretty much looked emaciated. Diana remembers how weak I was, and I would just tremble because I was so weak and lethargic and tired. And you can tell I have a very bubbly personality, but it had made me so depressed. Gandalf said it best. It's hard to fight when you're depressed or you're irritable, you're not feeling well, you don't have the energy to get out of bed. It's hard to stand up for something when you can't even stand up yourself physically. And that's kind of where I was mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And it had gotten so bad that I had developed a gluten intolerance. I would have one bite of gluten and my eyes would swell up, my hands and feet would swell up, my stomach would cramp, I'd get a migraine, I'd get very bloated. I had a dairy intolerance. And over time, I just kept thinking, I kind of didn't want to go to the doctor. So I just kept thinking it's going to be okay. I'll figure it out. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse to the point where I started having small seizures and I would pass out, and just unknowing, I didn't know when it was going to happen. I would know just a few seconds in advance. So I couldn't drive, couldn't do any of those things because I wouldn't have been able to pull over in time. And so finally I went to the doctor and they drew my blood, and sure enough, the autoimmune marker was present, and my antithyroid globulin levels, which were supposed to be less than 1, were 522. So I had a lot of inflammation in my body. And of course, my doctor said, we need to put you through the process, figure out which autoimmune condition that you have so we can learn to manage the flare-ups. That was the best thing that they could do for me, was teach me how to manage the flare-ups. So I was like, all right, let's go through it. Right when I found out that it was autoimmune, God's timing was so amazing. That's when I learned about the Inforce. And I started taking 6 of these capsules every day, 3 in the morning right when I woke up, and 3 at night right before I went to bed. And over time, as I was going through the testing, little by little, my appetite started coming back, and I was wanting to eat instead of eating because I knew I had to eat. And my energy, I wasn't taking as many naps, and I was feeling happier, and my mood was elevated, and I wasn't shaking as much. I was becoming more sturdy. I never had not even one more seizure or fainting spell after I started taking the Inforce. And I just kept taking it because I thought, if I'm going to feel bad for the rest of my life and I'm going to have to be managing this thing, then I'm going to feel the best bad that I can feel, if that makes sense. And but after 5.5 months, right when I was starting the endocrinology portion, I skipped into the endocrinologist office, and I was like, hi. He was like, you don't look like you're dealing with an autoimmune condition. I was like, I feel really good, actually. He goes, well, let's take your blood and let's see where you are. And they drew my blood. Sure enough, autoimmune marker was gone. My antithyroid globulin levels were back below 1. My vitamin D deficiency that I've had almost my whole life was gone. My vitamin B deficiency I've had almost my whole life was gone. So my own immune system modulated itself and went in and rebalanced my own body just by eating the right food, just by getting the right food into my body. And I truly believe, because mushrooms are one of the few organisms that actually hold sunlight. When it's access to sunlight, it holds the sunlight. So I believe when we eat these mushrooms, we're putting sunlight into our bodies, and that's helping us from the inside out, as the sun helps us from the outside in. And he said, this doesn't even look like it's blood work from the same person. There's no reason for us to even continue the testing. So we never even found out what I had. I tested it that night once I found out the autoimmune marker was gone, and I ate a giant quesadilla because I had been craving one, and I had no reaction to the gluten. It's now been 6 years. I have no gluten intolerance. I can eat dairy. I don't take allergy pills anymore. I haven't taken an Advil or an ibuprofen in years, because I used to take them regularly because I'm an athlete and I'd always get stiffness and soreness in my body. And so just putting the right foods into my body and giving it the natural support that it deserves is really what I am an advocate for, and what we're championing for. Like Diana said, if nature didn't make it, don't take it. I'm a walking, talking proof that what's possible for the body, once it just gets that natural support that it needs, that it's perfectly capable of repairing and restoring everything that's happening inside of itself. So I'm going to turn it back over to Kim, I believe, to go over some of the different types of products that we have.
Oh, thank you, Kristen. And I loved your story. It is so important to know. Thank you. Okay, so my thing is we offer life-enhancing products with a purpose. The Coriolis versicolor mushroom is baked into all of the natural, organic, healthy biscuits to support the immune system. We have added naturally sourced glucosamine, chondroitin, and keratin for hip and joint support. The mushrooms are in the Mush Puppies and the Mush Puppies Plus for the dogs. Also, they also come in an easy snap chew. We have some, so they're easier to break in half, and for the little pups with the sensitive teeth to chew. The Mush Puppies are good for the pups that are 25 to 30 pounds, and the Mush Puppies Plus are good for the 30 to 60 pounds. Although, you know, your smaller dogs can eat the Mush Puppies Plus too, especially if they're dealing with some sort of a issue that you want to work on. And it's got a little bit more of the mushrooms in it. And then the special sauce for the cats and the dogs is a handmade gravy with immune support of the Coriolis versicolor. And it has had added minerals for skin and coat support for the small pups and the pups that have some serious conditions. Even though my dog doesn't have serious conditions, I know she had some early vaccines. And so I give her some plain Greek yogurt in the morning, and I squirt a little bit of the super sauce on there. Oh my God, she loves it. And then, where am I? And it's got, and for our cats, we also have the cat super sauce, and it has the good joint and support in there as well. And then the Mush Ponies is the same formula as the Mush Puppies, except it's more concentrated with the mushroom, and it's got apple and carrot in there. And I also give my dog the Mush Ponies too, because she's over 55 pounds and I want to save some money on them. So, and then the Mojos are a wonderful hand-cut, freeze-dried liver coated with the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. It's a delicious energy supplying a training tool. They're little, and so you can use them for training and for the dogs. But the cats and the chickens and everybody else loves them too. I think we've got a runner, a marathoner that likes to pop them in his mouth too. So, Diana, I'll turn it over to you now. You're muted. You're muted, Diana.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Kim, thank you for that. It's so much fun. But Kim, before we move on, I'm going to answer this question for Kimberly. But Kim, I want you to come back and tell your story because it's pretty powerful. I'm going to answer Kimberly's question. My dog has really bad dry skin and gets a yeast breakout. What would be good for him? First of all, 16 years old and a 5-pound Yorkie. I bet that Yorkie rules the house. So what I would first do is smell the paws, because if the paws smell like Fritos, then we've got a fungus, a yeast infection going on the paws, and we can deal with that with some holistic things. But I would immediately go to the super sauce with a dog that old. The body is tired. The dog is tired. The immune system is tired, and it needs support. And this is going to give the dog so much support, not only because of the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, but also because of the glucosamine, chondroitin, keratin, which is going to help with his movement. At 16, this pup is got to be hurting a little bit. There's got to be some arthritis going on. We can literally take down some of the inflammation because the mushroom is really great for that, as well as there's extra skin and coat support in this product. This is probably one of my favorite products to give away. I love this product because it's under $10 a month. I mean, what can you do for an animal under $10 a month, right? It's such a great product. So definitely go right with the special sauce. Let's try that. I'm going to address the Alzheimer's question in a couple of seconds. But Kim, an arthritis, and I'm going to address that in just a second, and the tariffs. But Kim, go back to you for a second. Tell us your story. Why are you part of this mission, and what's going on with you and your condition?
Well, I saw you on a podcast and reached out to you, and because I was dealing with a brain tumor. It's non-cancerous, which is I'm hugely grateful for that, but it is pressing on my optic nerve. And before I even got to you and started these mushrooms, it had grown. I had had 3 additional MRIs, and it had grown on each one of them. And so I thought, oh, I got to get busy here and do something about this. So in January of 24, I started on 10 capsules a day, and no, eight capsules. And my next MRI was scheduled in 2.5 months. So I went to that, and it didn't grow. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. And so I continued on with the 8 capsules, and then I had another MRI in 6 months, still no growth. And then another one 6 months later, still no growth. I've got another one scheduled, I think, in November. And so that's why I started that. I think that, of course, other things I believe have gotten better, but I am thrilled that there's no growth.
And what is your doctor saying about that? Is that normal? Has he seen that before?
Well, of course, he's a surgeon, and he wants to, work and do some of his stuff. He's a little bit more holistic than some doctors, so he's okay with me taking that. And he says, just continue. We can keep monitoring you. I know you don't want to have surgery, so we'll just keep monitoring you and go. I applaud you for doing it. So
good for him. Good for him, and good for you. Kim, I've known you now for a couple of years, and you are such a spokesperson for this mission. You're out there sharing it with the world. You went and rescued this wonderful, amazing, huge dog. This dog's enormous, and the dog's on all the product, and the chill doggies. I know. Tell us your story about the chill doggies, because I know you're taking this dog on a paddleboard with you everywhere you go now.
I wish I could do it every day, but yeah, she was never socialized, only lived with her mother and the little daughter, and her siblings. So she was terrified of other people and other dogs, and it was and I was like, I want to return her because I want a sociable dog that wants to go hiking with me and my friends and do this and do that. And so, you look at you. She's showing a picture. So yes, one day at the 4th of July parade, I thought, we're going to this parade, and I put her a little thing on her head that had 2 little spinning pinwheels, and she just trotted out of the house and jumped in the car, and we went to this parade where there was oh my God, all kinds of loud noises, motorcycles and fire trucks and everything. And on the way there, I gave her a half of a chill dog, and she just had the best time, and I was so excited. I was so happy about it. And then after that, we went to my friend's house, who has a very rambunctious Boston Terrier. And I thought, this is not going to go well because he's very, very active. And she's like, heck yeah, let's play. And she played and played and played. We had the biggest day. It was so fun. And I'm like, dang, just one chill doggy, and she's ready to go. So
and that's the cool thing about this product. What does it do? It does nothing else except chill the doggy. And no, I have not eaten it yet. I'm going to at some point. I just have to make sure. Kristen, you've eaten it? Have you eaten it?
I took a bite.
This is the only product I have not tried myself.
All of the products have been tested on humans. I've tried them all.
I had someone who texted me and said, "What does Kristen's shirt say? Stand up so they can see your shirt."
My pets on mushrooms is yours.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Yeah, the chill doggies is pretty amazing because all that it does is chill the doggy. It's so simple. Haven't you ever had somebody say, "Hey, take a chill pill"? It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing for our animals. It just takes them down a notch. But let me ask 2 questions that were asked before. First of all, someone asked me to mention about the tariff price increases. Everything that we do is here in the United States. Now, the only things that we don't make here in the United States is the coffee beans. And I know that, that could be an issue. So I'm going to chat about the arthritis and a couple questions people had for humans. Arthritis is usually an inflammation problem. So the anti-inflammatory property of the Coriolus versicolor is unbelievable, and what it can do for arthritis, for pain. We've had people who have literally after 2 or 3 days called us and said, "Whoa, wait, but I have some good news. I have something pretty exciting." So this person's asking about arthritis and building a stronger shoulder cartilage. Don't want to have surgery. Absolutely. My bone density improved during chemotherapy. Think about that. Chemotherapy destroys your bone density. My bone density actually improved because if you look at the reports and you read the reports on the Coriolus versicolor mushroom, it actually can help your body to rebuild bone. As your body's immune system is doing everything else, that's one of the things it can do. So yes, I absolutely believe this is something that you should look at. But I'm going to add something in just a second. I'm going to also answer a previous question about Alzheimer's. The lion's mane. I can tell you the reports that are coming in now, the testimonials that we're getting. I'm going to first start with Kim. Kim is a man who lives half time in Hawaii, half time in Reno. Parkinson's. Big time Parkinson's, to the point where the family was getting very concerned. He also started to develop dementia. Well, what was happening after that he started on this was pretty amazing. For 5 years, this man's Parkinson has progressed every time he went to the doctor. Now, what we decided to do with Kim, everything we do was a suggestion. We are not medical professionals. We are not veterinarians. We suggested that he start by building his immune system. So he was about 180. He started taking 6 of these a day, a little over, almost double what normally he had. Then he added the clarity, the brain and nerve support, 4 a day. So 6 a day, 4 a day. On his next visit, which was about 4 months later, now the family had noticed some cognitive issues. They were very concerned about how Kim was not doing well with short-term memory and things like that. On his next visit, the doctor said for the first time in 5 years, he had not progressed in his Parkinson's. It had not progressed. That's huge. But more important was the family saying to me, Dad just isn't asking us the same questions over and over again like he was. We're feeling like the cognitive issues have started to subside a little bit. We're 2 years into that with Kim. Kim's Parkinson has not progressed, and his family says cognitive issues are no longer an issue. So yes, that link of the brain and the nervous system, the immune system is huge. I would first support the immune system first, and then add the complementary lion's mane. I think that's really, really, really important. Someone asked about, after their immune system might be compromised because of certain decisions that they made that maybe they're second guessing at this point, but we can't go backwards, right? So yeah, let's support that immune system. Let's get this immune system what it needs. That's truly, truly important. The autoimmune disorder that you have developed is not uncommon. Kristen, you and I have talked about this numerous times. We've heard this a lot. this is our go-to for just about everything. Start here. Start with just giving the immune system what it needs. Once you start with this and then add the complementary mushrooms of either the lion's mane, the maitake, or the shiitake, or the reishi, um, I totally believe that you will see a difference. I'm 5 years, 5 months cancer free. My husband is 75 years old in a couple of months, and he's like a little kid because his immune system is so healthy. We have not gotten a cold. We have not gotten the flu. Knock on wood, and thank you, God, and thank you, mushrooms. But this is why we feel like we've been so healthy, because we haven't, our immune systems just work perfectly. Here's our new announcement. Next time we're on, we're going to be sharing something very exciting. We have a new line, and Kristen, I'm going to go ahead and throw you at it, and then I'll come back and close out.
Yes, we do have a new line because we've been so focused on getting that natural support from the inside out, right? It starts first and foremost in the gut. It starts from getting the proper nutrients and nutrition into the body and then allowing the body to rebalance itself. But we understand that there are a lot of things that people are dealing with that are on the outside. And so we have a new line that we've introduced called Myco V, which again, Myco is mushroom and V is just French for life, or mushroom life. And these are 3 topical items that are 100% natural, plant-based, using mushroom therapy and the bioactive compounds in different types of mushrooms to help from the outside in. So we introduced our new Body Balm Plus, which is a nourishing, hydrating body balm that has arrowroot powder, shea butter, calendula oil, and of course the reishi mushroom, which is anti-inflammatory. And we also have our new Relief Cream, which has a ton of botanicals, essential oils, shiitake, reishi, and maitake mushroom are in that one to help with pain relief. So it covers a wide variety of different things. It's a very, very powerful product. We're so excited about that. Of course, they're all safe for both dogs and people. And then our last is our Beauty and Longevity Gel, which is made with proprietary structured water, aloe vera, along with shiitake, maitake, reishi mushrooms, several other natural components that help to your body to create its own collagen, and it helps cellular repair, mitochondrial support. It helps with DNA repair, all different types of things. And that's the Beauty and Longevity Gel. And the great thing about the Beauty and Longevity Gel is it's the first of its kind ever, where you can use it ingested or topically. That's how safe it is. You can eat it, and we encourage you to eat it. I eat it every day. I have been, and I encourage you guys to try it too. You just take 2 teaspoons of it and just mix it in with your water for the day, or mix it in with a smoothie in the morning. And it gets that Irish sea moss and all those botanicals and essential oils and MSM and hyaluronic acid, just all these great properties into your body to help from the inside out. And then you could also put it on your skin. I put it on my face and my neck and décolletage, and I just put it on my skin as well. Helps if you refrigerate it and you put it under your eyes. It helps with any bags that you might have under your eyes. It's very cooling and soothing for that. And that's the Beauty and Longevity Gel. So it's an anti-aging gel that you both ingest and put on topically. And if you go to sheepdogspets.com or gandalfpets.com, you can see that those products are already available. You can see the ingredients, all of the different key benefits and things that they do. But we're so excited about this line because we know that from the inside out is key. And it's first and foremost what we should be doing. A lot of the issues that we're dealing with, because disease is brewing in the body long before the symptoms ever present themselves. So a lot of what we're dealing with has already been brewing for a while before we start having these symptoms or these outward expressions of it. So we have to address that first, get the right things into the body first. But to help accelerate progress and bring relief faster, now we have the Myco V Trio to help from the outside in to bring relief. So we're so grateful for that. Again, all of them are safe for both pets and people. It's non-toxic, no parabens, no fragrances, nothing synthetic in it. Very, very powerful products that, again, are rooted in nature but backed by science.
Yeah, we're excited about this new line because, treating things from the inside out is very important, but why not treat them from the outside in also? I'm a little sunburned and a little sunblown today because I've been on the lake all day, but I just put some of the Body Balm Plus on with the reishi mushroom. That's all that I use on my skin, and I absolutely love it. So, yeah, maybe it will make us all look younger because the reishi mushroom does have clinical backings that show that it actually is almost an anti-aging type property. So we're excited about that. So, in closing, I want to just touch on two of our kid products. One is the cookies and the other one is the gummies. And I can't find my bottle of gummies. I've been downing them so much lately because they're so good. But the gummies and there you go. The gummies and the cookies are our kid approved products, but the adults love them too. And the reason that we came up with this product is because, we really need to protect our children. Our children are going to school and they're like being around all these little petri dishes. And a lot of these kids are getting started on so many horrible protocols, the vaccinations, all of these things. And yes, all of the items are available online now. If you go to the website, you can pre-order 2 of them. They'll be out within 3 weeks. And the other one is shipping right now, the Body Balm Plus, which is what I just used on my face today. Children. We had an incredible story of a grandmother who was just sick of watching her 3-year-old grandson be sick all the time. Poor little baby would go to bed every night, wake up so congested, runny, crusty nose. They literally had to take a warm compress to pull the crud off his nose every morning. It was debilitating. They had gone to every specialist they could go to. 3 years old, they were getting ready to start him on a statin. Think about that. The grandmother was fuming. She opened a Coriolis versicolor capsule. Now, she said for her, it was more important to get results than permission, and forgiveness would be asked if it worked. She put this in his little smoothie. It's completely safe. It's just a mushroom. And the next morning, this baby woke up with no crusty, runny nose, no, let's pull off all the crud on your nose, honey, with a warm compress. She had the baby for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no symptoms. Monday came, her daughter came to pick up the baby, and she said, look, I gave this to your child. I'm sorry, but look at the results. And I'm sure there was a conversation that might not have been real pleasant, but this little boy now is 2.5 years. He's 5 years old now. And he has not had to go on statins. Think about that. How incredible that is. So our kids' problems, our products, our cookies, and our gummies are fantastic for the children, as the adults love them also. We're excited about our new product line. And I will close with coffee. So United States is the only country that accepts rejected coffee beans from other countries. That's pretty scary. Most coffees have bugs, dirt, fungicides, mildicides, pesticides, so many bad things in them, high chemicals. You want to make sure that if you're going to be drinking coffee, that you're going to be drinking good coffee that has got certifications that are worldwide, that are certified organic, that are non-GMO, that are kosher. Our coffee is absolutely phenomenal. And then it has the beauty of the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. Yes, there are all kinds of mushroom coffees. I got a call from a girl the other day who had tried one of the most popular ones that she had seen advertised and was sick for 4 days after she drank the coffee. So it is important that if you're going to do organic coffee and you're going to do coffee with mushrooms in it, that you are getting a good quality product. And in closing, guys, look, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. And sometimes the coffees that are in the grocery stores have been 2 months to 2 years from grinding to shelf. Think about that. Ours is ground and fresh roasted and ground within 1 week of you ordering. So it is important that you know what coffee you're getting. And in closing, guys, helping animals live longer is our passion. Helping this platform is our passion. We have a contest. We're looking for everybody to give us testimonials. Send testimonials to sheepdogspets@gmail.com or gandalfpets@gmail.com. We're going to be drawing some winners next month for some free freeze-dried food, which we'll talk about our food line and our mineral line next week. But we just want you guys to understand that we have an affiliate program. We would love to have more voices. We want people out there shouting from the rooftop. This platform of amazing people who teach us, who work with us so much and give of their time. We want to support this platform by ordering these products because a portion of the proceeds go to them, as well as supporting a USA-based small company and something that, we want 1 million voices. So if anybody's out there is interested in our affiliate program, one woman called me the other day. She goes, I really need to join this because I spend way more on my dog than I spend on myself. And if I can make a little bit of money to pay for my dog's habit, I would love to do that. So we thank you all, Birdlove, Gandalf, Sheepdogs, Hercules, all of you for letting us have this time. And we're open for questions. So fire away.
So, Kristen, will you chime in for a second and talk about, you're a founder here, and I don't really call people out very often, but I had never really listened to your story until I heard it earlier, and I'm a consultant many years, and this company has an energy and a vibe, and I think you're part of that. So, oh wait, you helped found it, and you did the research. Can you just give us another 2 minutes on why this is such an important ingestant, that it can change your life? Human, 2-legged, 4-legged, horse, mule, dog, chicken. and then I got to hand it off to Sheepdog. I can see him tapping his foot.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have a saying, every pet, every person, every day, because this Coriolis versicolor mushroom, it really is a core mushroom. And there's something that's so important. We hear about these different superfoods that grow in specific areas of the world, and all of their amazing bioactive compounds, and that make it great for humanity, but they only are available in these certain areas, if that makes sense. And what we found through time is that there are certain needs that the people and the animals in that area have, that they need those particular compounds to help them combat or support whatever's happening in the body, or combat whatever's coming against the body. And that's why it's available in those areas. Well, the Coriolis versicolor mushroom grows all over the entire world. You will find this everywhere in the world. It grows on logs everywhere. And that is really important to know, because what that tells you creation-wise is that it was intended for everyone, for everything, in all areas. It is a support that every living being can benefit from. So that's why we believe every pet, every person, every day should be getting this mushroom into their systems. And part of what you said about the energy of this company, we all know it. All of us are very awake that are watching this. We know that truth resonates on a different frequency, and we have, by the grace of God, we've been given discernment, and we know, we can feel it when there's truth behind whatever is being said. We've been told so many lies. We've been misled for so long by people in authority and institutions in authority, and we believed them just because they were in a position of authority over us. And it wasn't until pretty recently that a lot of us started questioning the content of what was being said, not just the fact that it was coming from an authoritative figure. And so that's why it's so important when you feel like what a lot of you are feeling in your gut. That's what I felt in my gut when I learned about mushrooms, and when I learned about what's possible and what was happening. I was like, oh my goodness, this is our way. This is our way to take back our wellness, to take back our health, and to take matters into our own hands. Because for a long time, there's this us versus them mentality where they've been keeping the prisoners too sick to climb the prison walls. And their biggest fear has been us regaining our wellness and regaining our health mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Because then when we're feeling better, when we're of sound mind and sound body, then we can come together and start to implement change and be the change that we want to see in the world, which is what you see happening right now. There's no longer this diffusion of responsibility where everybody's waiting for somebody else to solve all of their problems and to fix everything for them. No, the micro creates the macro. If we want things to change, it must begin with me. I must first make changes for myself, for my family, then for my neighborhood and my city, and then my state, and then my country. And that's how it ripples out. But it all starts with me, each of us individually. So that's why I'm so passionate for pets and people and being a part of the restoration of creation and returning things back to its natural order and God's order, because God's ways are the best ways. And when we return to that, then we can live in peace and harmony without a lot of this unnecessary suffering that animals and people are going through. And I'm incredibly passionate about it and thankful that we've been positioned right now as a voice and as a company that's standing in the gap. And there's several great companies rising up, that we're one of many that are rising up, people serving humanity, serving creation, serving animals, and deeply loving and caring. And so that's like everyone in this community, all of you that are on this panel right here, you deeply love and care. You would not be serving to the capacity that you're serving right now. It's not easy what you guys do. And we know that. And so we're just so grateful that we're a part of this movement. We're grateful that you're a part of this movement, that God's bringing us all together to collaborate, to be a voice for those that don't have one, to be a part of the restoration of creation, because we can truly change the way that pets and people are being treated. It is within our power, and we can do it in a loving and ethical way. And that's what we're doing. We're standing up and we're going out and we're making it happen. So I don't even know if I answered your question, but I'm so passionate about it.
You know what? I love the fact that in the middle of your rant about 115 seconds ago, you went down this diatribe of the hierarchy of change. And this team has heard me say this a million times. This battle is won table to table, heart to heart, driveway to driveway, community to community, house to house, family to family. That's the only way we win.
Yes.
It's the only way we win. And I just, Diana and I have spent stupid hours on the phone talking about stupid stuff. And it always comes down to the same thing, which is, I just really want to inject this change into the community. And thank you for designing these products. I thank you.
Thank you. It's truly.
And we have to hand it off to dog, or I'm going to get in trouble.
Well, and I think we end with one thing. It's up to this community to share, post, and get this out to other people. Other people need to hear this. So, just take a minute and share these podcasts and talk to somebody about it, and just help this platform grow, because it deserves it. It really deserves it.
I've got a suggestion.
Yeah.
Maybe for the ones that have groomers or vets that they like, maybe speak to them about the products and have them get in touch with us.
Our Chill Doggies is a groomer's favorite. The groomers actually that we work with give these away to their customers so that their dog's just taken down a little notch before it comes in to be groomed. And the people love it so much they end up buying it. And it's a great way for the groomers to make a little extra money, because grooming is a hard thing to do. And it's only one person making money off of one dog while they're doing it. And if they can have another stream of income, it's very, very helpful.
And if I could just answer the question, because I've seen somebody else ask about this a little earlier. But there are so many studies that have been done on the lion's mane mushroom and the nerve and brain support, and how the lion's mane mushroom actually does help with anxiety, depression, PTSD, along with a lot of those other cognitive issues like Diana was mentioning, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, neuropathy. There are tons of studies done on it. So we found that a great combination is the Coriolis versicolor with the Clarity, which is the lion's mane mushroom, to help with that anxiety.
We learned on the morning chat today with the dogs that it does the same thing for humans. Oh shoot,
The lion's mane.
no, the catnip. The
Oh,
catnip. Yes. So
just eat a chill doggy.
yes.
Yeah, I can't wait. My husband's now saying, I'm going to give the chill doggy to you to chill the Diana. So,
Yeah, the chill Dianas.
are there any other questions? Anything else we can help with? We just appreciate you guys so much. And someone said here about Parkinson's. They were asking about the person with Parkinson's, and the question just went right past me. And I'm so sorry. Oh, here we go. Who was it? Oh, my bestie has Parkinson's and has been on the blue bottle for 7 months. Oh my gosh, Happy Roses 639, please send me a testimonial. Send me a testimonial. I want to hear more about this and how this person is doing. I missed that one. Kristen, why are you laughing? What did they say?
I don't often eat a dog treat, but when I do, and start taking that. Now, the thing with hormone regulation is that it does take a little bit longer for those types of things to rebalance. So again, this is not a cure for anything. It's not a medication. People metabolize it at different speeds just based off of your own body. But, we've had people with a lot of different imbalances in their hormones that they've regained the balance again from supporting their immune system. Absolutely.
Yeah, some things, sometimes we start to balance the immune system and work with the immune system, and it starts to repair and replenish things that we didn't know were wrong with us. And so sometimes it takes longer for it to get to the things that we know because it's so busy fixing the things that we didn't know are wrong with us. You agree with that, Kristen?
Yes, exactly. And that's also just our conditioning, right? We've been taught to manage the symptoms, to treat the symptoms. And so we take this for a headache and this for a stomach ache and this for allergies and this for a cold. And, we've compartmentalized everything. We've forgotten that there's an entire system, an immune system, which was designed for immunity that's already built into our body, that built into our pet's body, that knows the root cause. It knows the source. So it goes directly to the source of whatever's creating those symptoms in the first place. It resolves it there. And once that issue is resolved, then magically the symptoms then go away, because I think of it like a check engine light in a car, right? When your check engine light comes on, that's like a symptom. It tells you that something's wrong. Something's wrong in the car. Something's wrong in the engine. And turning off the light doesn't fix what's wrong in the engine. So managing the symptoms and trying to find relief from the symptoms doesn't change the fact of whatever created those symptoms in the first place. So that's why the immune system is so powerful. That's why it needs to be supported, because it can go to the cause of those symptoms, address it there, and then the symptoms will go away.
We had a guy that called us the other day, and his dog had been so sick and had these big lymphomas all over his body, like bumps. And so it was a big dog. We started the dog on Mush ponies, and he said, after the first 2 weeks, he said, I haven't really noticed much of a change, except the dog's a little less grumpy, and the dog is moving better, and the dog wants to be loved on a little more than he did before. He's jumping up and down on the couch. He hasn't done that for a while. And it was like, well, you know what? Your dog's starting to feel better. He's starting to feel better. So that's the first thing that's happening. About a week later, I get a text from him saying the lymphomas are softening. They're not as hard. And today he actually said to me, they're actually starting to go down in size. But the first thing that happened was the dog started acting different. Dog felt better. I mean, it's pretty simple, right?
That's what happened to my cat. We just thought he was skittish and feisty. We were like, oh, that's how cats are. We started giving him the special sauce and changed his food, because I didn't know, before I was certified in pet nutrition, I just trusted the brands. I trusted, why could the store sell me something that would be harmful for my pet? The store wouldn't do that, right? I just blindly trusted the packaging. And then when I learned about it and I learned what to look for, and I changed it and started getting the proper nutrients and minerals and antioxidants that he needed in his body, he's like a dog. He follows us around and sits in our lap and wants to cuddle. And he's so friendly and calm. It's a completely different cat. And I think he just didn't feel well, and so he was irritable. And I just interpreted that as, oh, he's skittish and feisty. That's how cats are. No, the poor baby didn't feel good. I'm irritable when I don't feel well.
So, and I'm looking at KVB 68. What a great thing to say. They say my check engine light came on the other day, and I said, "Oh, great spirit, please not today," and the light went off. So yes, people can do that, but our animals, our animals don't know. They first of all, they don't understand placebos. You can't talk them out. We can talk ourselves sometimes into feeling a little better. We can do that. Can't do that with animals. They're either going to feel better or they aren't, or they're going to respond or they aren't. And that's what I love about our product line, is that we literally see things, miracles happen in these animals that wouldn't have happened before. And I'm looking at somebody saying they make their own food. Good for you. Good for you. We're going to talk nutrition and minerals the next time we're on.
Well, that's like we have a border collie that my wife got a few years ago, and she thought that she was getting her a new dog, and she ended up getting me a dog. Well, the last couple of weekends I went on and played softball, and the dog just does not know how to behave if she's not with me. So the chilled doggies have helped with calming her down while I'm gone, because all she wanted to do was lay in the sun, lay on the deck, and wait for Daddy to come home.
Oh.
So Bird used those, and she crawled up in a chair and went to sleep. So she
and that's a good thing. Let's just chill the doggy, take the anxiety down, because when animals are anxious, it's not healthy. It's not good. They secrete all kinds of juices and things in their stomach that go up into their esophagus and can cause teeth problems. There's so many things that can happen when a person and or an animal gets anxious. So that's a wonderful story to hear.
Yeah, it really helps her with the thunderstorms too that we've been getting here in the mountains.
Yes,
I'll just give her maybe a half of one, and she'll crate herself. She'll go upstairs and crate herself. But she's not as anxious. I think this anxiety started when Gabe passed away. She sort of had to be the top dog, and so it's a lot of responsibility on her.
Yeah.
So, but it's really helped.
That's wonderful.
We so much appreciate it.
Well, you know what? It's about making our fur babies' lives better. They give us so much. They do. They rely on us. They definitely do. Doggy downers. Oh my gosh. The doggy downers that are prescription based for our dogs are so hard on their liver and kidneys. Yes, it helps to calm them. But look at the side effects. It's no different than us. Same exact thing.
Right.
No.
No, it just takes her down a notch, and I'll catch her napping. I even caught her up on top of the couch behind the barricade that I put up there with her nose at the window, but she was asleep.
I love
she
that.
was asleep.
I'm seeing someone in here saying they're making their own doggy treats. Really important, guys. If you're using peanut butter, that you are incredibly careful at looking at the ingredients. Xylitol, we now all know, is bad. They have renamed xylitol birch sugar. It sounds good. Doesn't it sound good? Birch sugar?
Sounds delicious, but it's horrible for your dogs.
It is xylitol renamed, and it is poisonous to our fur babies. So if you are using peanut butter, please, 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 make sure you're really watching the ingredients and watching that it doesn't have birch sugar or xylitol in it.
I recommend actually pulling every single ingredient up online to see if it's safe for dogs.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. Did you hear that, Kristen?
Yeah, look up the ingredients. You're able to do that now. It's been really good. It levels the playing field. You could look up every ingredient and just make sure that it's safe and non-toxic for pets.
Or make your own peanut butter.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Herc. I'm going to mute. Oh, is that me?
No,
yes.
My recommendation was just, if you are wondering if something is good for your pet, the best thing to do is pull it up online, pull up every ingredient in anything that you give them, because a lot of times they are putting in things that dogs shouldn't have. Maybe
Yeah.
cats shouldn't have them too, just to keep everybody in your family safe.
That
And
actually
well.
takes work, Hercules. That actually takes
I
work.
know.
How dare you?
I put in the work.
Hercules, listen to the dog food. There is one product in dog foods called meat byproducts. You know what that really is slaughterhouse meat not fit for human consumption, dead, decaying, diseased animals, and
Roadkill.
exactly.
And even they found euthanized animals in some dog foods as well.
That's awful.
So people see meat byproducts, they think, oh, that must be okay. You know, they have no idea what it really means.
I can't imagine, putting something in a pet food that could potentially kill them.
I know.
I mean, we're talking about euthanized pets? Come
Yes.
on. Are euthanized animals? Just
Well, and you know,
disgusting.
Kristen put it best earlier. I believe most people want to do the right thing for their animals, but that we do truly trust that we're getting the right thing when we go to the big box store. We can't imagine that they would give us something that was harmful to our animals. You know, rawhide that has glues and shoe dyes, and I mean, we've got dog food filled with cardboard because it's approved. So yeah, and we're going to touch on that next time we're on, some of the things to look for in your food so you can give your dog a great food. It doesn't have to break the bank. It can be something that is affordable but better for your animal.
Right, and I've also heard that if you're feeding them any kind of kibble and you put water on it, I think you probably told me this, and it expands, that means that it has wood shavings in it, right? Or wood
Well,
dust?
it has fillers. It doesn't necessarily mean wood. Drop it in some water, let it sit for a little bit. And if it expands, then that's exactly what it's doing in the pup's belly, which is not good. They eat their dinner, they go chug water to rehydrate, and then all of a sudden, woof, it fills up. The fillers are just inert calories and things that are just used to help them increase their profit margin, and that it is a big business. Why do 95% of our pet foods are made by 3 of the biggest candy companies? That's pretty scary. Think about if everything you guys ate was made by the 3 biggest candy companies, how would we all feel?
Like crap.
I would feel great.
Yeah,
You're
you
the
and
only
my
one
other-
here.
It would feed my sugar
listen to
craving.
Durandal. Don't listen to Durandal. He's going through monster withdrawal. He quit Monster.
Z, did you have a question for these ladies?
Wake up, Z. Wake up.
Either we were very thorough or he fell asleep.
No, he had questions about how to grow them.
Oh, Chris,
I had to
reconfigure my stuff.
There he is. He's here.
Sorry.
I was listening over the television, but I know that if I'm doing that while I'm speaking, you get all that double feedback and stuff. But yes, I was curious about your growing process of this. Do you have is it all greenhouse grown and
Oh, was that all?
So we actually, like Dana was going to start saying something, but
yeah. So we do have a greenhouse, but it's actually out in nature. So all of our mushrooms, our growing facility, all of the mushrooms have access to natural sunlight. We don't use any artificial light or anything like that. And additionally, they're surrounded by trees. So a lot of people don't know this, but mushrooms communicate, and the communication process is really important to their growth and their development. And we have a lot of trees planted around our greenhouses where we grow all of the mushrooms.
I am kind of familiar with that whole underground network that does this stuff, and you guys are fantastic. You're so knowledgeable on all of this stuff. I started within this last year. I started kind of growing our own food about 3 years ago, but just this last year, I started doing all my own herbs, and so I'm making my own oregano oils, lavender oils, rosemary oils, and now tinctures. And but I'm kind of tired right now because we actually went. I heard about an apothecary, because my little apothecary is just in one little corner of the laundry room. But it works good for me. So, I had heard about this other apothecary at a ghost town here in Arizona. It's out at a place called Goldfield Mine, Ghost Town. And so we went out there this morning, and it was just so fantastic. There had so many different things. I mean, the only thing we really bought was some honey, because I'm gotta, once spring rolls in, I need to become a beekeeper again. I know this is getting off the topic of mushrooms, but I was just curious because I started seeing things and I just want to grow them.
And you know what? That is something I think a lot of people are afraid of, is that we are going to all start growing and controlling our own food sources. And it's important that we do so. And mushrooms, my gosh, they are so easy to grow. Literally 1 ton of mushrooms can come from like a square mile of mushrooms, and they grow 24 hours a day. They need very little water, very little sunlight. They're just an amazing thing. Somebody was asking about bone marrow. Yes. This is an antler, and antlers are just filled with bone marrow. And next time we're on, we're going to talk a lot about minerals and nutrition. And this is something that is so good for our animals. But Z, we're really excited to hear about you growing everything. And what herbs are you having the most fun with? What are you enjoying growing the most?
Probably my favorite is basil. And I've just discovered this. I mean, I was a junk food junkie my whole life, growing up in the masonry trade and just eating whatever, I'd have a couple of Costco maple muffins just for filler, during the course of the day. I just ate terrible. But this last few years, I never ate a zucchini my whole life until 2022, because I was growing one, and I didn't even know it was there. And it was 14, 16 inches long and 5 inches in diameter, and there was hiding. And everybody was saying, oh, well, yeah, well, you really need to get them when they're smaller, they're more tender. But it was fantastic. My wife Marzi we did a zucchini boat with some marinara sauce that she prepared, and it was fantastic. Now I eat zucchini every day, and so does our dog. I mean, he either eats zucchini with his kibble or cucumbers and carrots. He likes all this stuff, but basil.
Basil's beautiful, and it smells so good. I just got some pineapple sage that I started growing. That is absolutely amazing. But what do they say? If you teach a man to fish, he eats, for whatever. But if you give a woman a garden and she starts the zucchini planting, she'll feed the whole neighborhood and pretty soon the whole town, right?
No, I think it goes like this. I think it goes. Start a man a fire and he'll stay warm for a day. Start a man on fire and he'll stay warm for the rest of his life.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
Basil.
I have to jump off.
Kristen.
I'm so sorry. I just noticed the time. But I wanted to thank you guys for having me on. Thank you so much for what you're doing. We appreciate you. And please reach out to us if you have any questions, okay?
Bye, Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you,
Bye,
Kristen.
Kristen. Thank you.
Well met, Kristen.
With the basil, and so now I actually have regular basil. I don't know what kind it is, but it grows like mad in Arizona in the summertime, and I have it in 2 different gardens at my house, and it just explodes. I don't know what could ever stop it. It's like mint or something. You know, it just keeps growing and keeps, and it's so
Well,
easy to propagate.
Harvest it and make pesto. I mean, we literally all.
Continue.
I'm in Boulder City, Nevada, which is not too far from Arizona. In fact, I'm in Arizona right now. But we literally, all of us will get together and we'll bring just mounds and mounds of basil, and then we'll just grind it up and put all kinds of amazing things like pistachios or whatever we want and olive oils and make amazing pestos that freeze up, and it makes great gift giving, but it also just makes for great eating.
Yeah, I have a dehydrator, and it's a 14 tray dehydrator now, and I have that thing running 24/7 with either basil, oregano, rosemary.
Nice.
I'm doing all these weird weeds like Euphorbia prostrata, and there's just so many. There's just so much to learn, but I'd never even notice any mushrooms popping up anywhere out in my pharmacy or out in the garden. I know they got to be.
It is important that you make sure that they're not poisonous mushrooms too. That's really critical. So I'm going to go back real quick to the person talking about bone marrow because they said their dog had gotten sick. Yeah, if you buy antlers from the big box stores, I can almost guarantee you that they've been bleached and or that they are a C or D grade, or they have been imported from China. Very, very important that if you're going to give antlers to your dogs, that they're A or B grade, that they have not been bleached. And other than that, it should not cause any issues. It's actually support for the kidneys, support for the organs, support for the heart, support for the cone, the coat, the ligaments, all of those things. So bone marrow is amazing. Just unfortunately, we are hearing of a lot of people that are buying these box store imported antlers, and they're not so good.
Did I just hear you say if I chew the right antler, my hair will come back?
Yeah, I did. I said that, so I can't wait to watch you chewing on it.
So, something that I ran into a long, long time ago. I had my dog Hercules. He was a puppy at the time. I think he was less than 6 months old or whatever, and it went into an actual meat a place that grows and sells meat. Can't think of what they're called, but
A
whatever.
butcher.
Thank you. Yes, a butcher or meat, whatever. They gave me a smoked bone with bone marrow in it. And I asked about that. I said, is that smoke? Is it just the smoke, or did you put something on it? He said, no. Your dog will be fine. My dog swelled up. So I would just recommend to anybody that's going that direction, just make sure that they're not putting some kind of smoke flavor on it and then smoking it. Just make sure it's just raw bone,
Yes.
raw marrow. Very important.
100%. Our little puppies, when they're small, they just can't handle all those different flavors and things either. So yeah, that's probably what happened. The bone marrow bones that you get from the butcher are fantastic. Good exercise. In the winter, lots of people keep them in their freezer, and it's a good entertainment when the dogs can't go outside and play. And it's good it's just filled with amazing things. We're going to cover that next time we're on, a lot about our minerals and about nutrition.
So if you have a young a dog that's going to be a big dog, if you take those bones from the butcher and you put them over an open flame for about 45 minutes until the marrow starts boiling, and then let them cool, the bone will disintegrate and help them with their tooth growth, and their indigestion problems will never happen, and it will help promote the cortisol engagement with their hips. So if you have a dog that has like dysplasia genetically, but not boiling, but roasting those bones when they're between young and 18 months, especially if they're going to be a big dog, makes a huge difference. And I know this from breeding hunting dogs for more than a day. So paying attention to your pet health is what this is all about. And if you pay attention to your pet health, your pet will pay attention to you for more years. Oh, I should write that down.
Oh my gosh, that's fabulous. You're right, though. But you know what? It comes down to another thing. We don't realize that these little puppies, when they're born, from the day they're born until they're 18 months old, they have to do everything that it takes a human 24 years to do. Every bone, every ligament, every organ, every piece of skin, everything has to develop in 18 months. So if you can do anything to give it extra nutrients, like you said, the bone marrow, whether it's the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, but anything that you can do to help create a stronger foundation, the dog is going to be healthier longer. It's just that simple. So these little pups, people will say, oh, my dog's, baby, he doesn't need supplements. He doesn't need the mush puppies. He doesn't need this mushroom. That's when they actually will benefit the best from it, because the foundation will be laid, and it will be laid strong and good, and it will help that dog live longer and love you longer.
And to probably counteract the vaccines that they've had.
I'm sorry, say that again.
And it will help them to counteract the vaccines that they've had. That's our new word for the other thing.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, we got that from our girl the other night. So I have a question for you, Diana. I have two shepherds, and I needed to get one of them spayed. They're almost out of the T-Rex version of being shepherds, which is the terrible twos, and I have to get the other shepherd spayed. But I think RFK is coming forward saying that they don't have to get the rabies thing. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, so you can get a titer test. So the vaccines in our animals are almost as bad as the vaccines in our children. I mean, they're just over vaccinating them. If you have to prove that your dog has a rabies, vaccine, I know there are certain HMOs, there are some RV parks that require certifications. You can, in fact, go and get what's called a titer test, which will tell you that first and only rabies shot that he got or she got is still.
But how do you get around not getting the rabies shot?
Well, this is a good one. This is a good one. I had a guy in an HOA where they demanded every animal that lived in this HOA had to provide a certificate. So he wrote a letter to them through his attorney and said, I'd be happy to comply. I will be happy to follow the rules. Would you please sign this disclosure as to any adverse effects that could come from this? And of course, they never asked again. Find a different vet that will do the surgery without the test. I wanted to get my dog's teeth cleaned, and they said that I couldn't get him cleaned if he didn't have a flu shot. Are you kidding? So guess what?
Well,
That person
this is not just dogs, right? We're going to go to Arizona in December for a couple of months, and if I travel across state lines with equines, I'm supposed to have a specific number of tests, and if I pass a weigh station, I'm supposed to show my test. It's all just tyranny. Do you see any? I know you have your pulse on this. Do you see any changes in that?
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna get some more research for the next time we do the show. We work very closely with a holistic veterinarian who I absolutely love, Dr. Sally Lane. She's actually on our board, and she works with us on product development and a few other things. I'm going to ask her a little bit more about this, because I know that the titer test for rabies is one of the first things that people are able to do to kind of like stop that whole rabies thing. But I don't know an answer on, like you said, going across state lines and what you can use. I don't want to ever tell anybody to do anything illegal, but I'll get some answers for you. I'll talk to Dr. Sally and find out for you.
Gan, find a different route.
That's great.
Find a different route, yeah.
Well, no, like Hercules knows that
I know back roads.
I will produce any amount of paperwork. I am a digital specialist. So
and I hate that we even have to have that conversation. It's really, it's really sad.
There's something to be
I have
said.
two female. I have two female loves in my life. One of them has 2 legs, and one of them has 4 legs. So, and well, I'm not going to say I ride both of them because I'm not a gauche man.
Okay,
But
that's
you know
another
what I'm saying. So Hercules, keep going and save me from this diatribe in case Lucinda watches this show.
There's something to be said for our nation going back to being sovereign. And I know that when we get there, that all of this will be mute. And I know that we're headed in that direction. And I love the changes that we're seeing. I just wish they would hurry up.
Oh, I think we all.
I think we're all there.
Yeah. Yeah, we all feel that way. My patience level is really being tried right now. But yeah, we just have to have faith that it's all going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. And we know how that is.
Exactly.
Gandalf,
Well, so
I just saw a.
go ahead, Kim. Yes.
I recently saw a veterinarian post something that said something about not doing spading or neutering, that it wasn't good for the dogs. I'll try to find that.
Well, okay, so that I'm not a veterinarian, but I can play one on my channel. So, and that's what I'm doing here. So, normally a natural spaying is a gelding process of some sort. So if I'm going to do this I can do this with pigs, goats, and horses, pretty much with a constriction and not a real surgery, unless you get around the cauterizing of the wound with a hot stick at some point, or you restrict and the testicles fall off naturally. Okay, so because in the real world of animal husbandry, you are very, very selective about who you neuter. So I might neuter a dog to keep from marking. I might neuter a stallion to make it more tempered and make it a work animal. I might neuter a goat because it's going to be a bad billy, but there's always a reason. We've gotten into this trend of just kicking testicles to the curb, so to speak, and that's not a good trend. So my question back to you, Kim, is why are you doing it? Is it because your wife says that the dog pisses on the couch? Oh wait, that's my house, or because you're not going to work that animal in that way. So we've lost touch with this construct that it's bad to manage your animals.
Gandalf,
I would love to have this long conversation.
It goes back also to good pet ownership and animal ownership. I mean, we do have an abundance of animals, and I know that the whole spaying and neutering in the dog and cat world is so that we don't have all of these shelters filled with hundreds of thousands of dogs. And gee, that cute little puppy that we bought at Christmas grew up and now we don't want him anymore. And we know that has happened. And I really think that the spay and neuter thing really started to get public push because of the shelter situation. And then, of course, we've got people breeding dogs for money and they have no idea what they're doing. And, I just saw a girl.
But there's also the other end of that scale where people are liking having their cats make stock picks. I mean, we're just not managing. We're not managing our animals correctly, in my opinion.
Yes.
I manage. What is it? 50 animals a day in one form or another, loosely. One of them being human, and I'm pretty successful. They're all still alive, and that's really, I've heard Diana say this 100 times. This is all about keeping your furry family members longer.
Yeah.
And
healthier.
And healthier. every time I've adopted an animal, something I've done many times in my life, if I'm going to butcher it, I never name it ever, and I hope I outlive it.
Yeah.
I have a mule that's 13, which I might outlive if I am 105.
Wow.
So, well, 96, I think. So just about adopting animals, and Diana, to your point, you don't adopt an animal for 5 minutes, and if you do, that's irresponsible, and you probably voted for Biden.
Yeah, I would get caught up in the moment. Everybody, when they want a puppy. I mean, I remember when I was a little girl, the big thing at Easter was to get a chicken that had been colored. I don't know if you remember that. I mean, I'm older than most of you here, but that was a big thing. There would be these stores that would have just.
I remember the chickens. I remember the chickens.
And people just didn't think about what happens next, when that's very sad. I'm going to answer a quick question. Someone said that they're taking a heartworm pill every month. And, the heartworm thing is a whole nother issue. Yes. We've got to protect our animals in the area where heartworm is prevalent. But if they're not in an area where heartworm is prevalent, don't do it. But, it's a tough one. It's a really tough one.
Well, I think that goes back to just being cognizant of your parasite cleanses with your animals and yourself. We need to bring that up because a lot of people still are not doing this every 6 months. And, it's not something that has been widely accepted, I guess, in the United States. Most every other country.
Wait, Hercules. I have a question for you, Hercules. You know Lucinda, my better half.
I do.
She refuses to take ivermectin because we have 2 cases of it because we have a bunch of equines. She refuses to take ivermectin.
Did you get the apple
flavor? How do you think I should overcome that?
Apple flavor.
It's horse flavor. It's the horse flavor. It's whatever that is. But she refuses to take it.
Here's the thing. So if she won't take that, get the walnut, the walnut extract. I think it's green.
I want her to take the mushroom shit from Diana. That's what I want her to take.
Yeah, we've had
that.
Yeah, we have literally had cases where we've had people that have had parasite extraction because their immune system has the power to get rid of foreign invaders. So it is something, but yeah, some people just aren't going to take ivermectin, and I will also say, as much as I believe in ivermectin, and I have it in my house too, be very careful with your dogs because it can permanently blind and damage certain breeds. So you definitely have to be careful with it.
The Australian Shepherds are prone to having the MTHFR, and we all know what I call that, but and so I wouldn't give the ivermectin to the dogs unless you've had them tested for that particular. It's a gene
mutation.
Thank you so much. The words are escaping me today. I think I'm just tired. And so instead of doing the ivermectin, I mean, I do the fenbendazole, the Panacure C for my dogs. Me personally, I take wormwood, I use clove, and I use the green walnut, and I also use ivermectin.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Hercules. That's what I was.
All 3.
Yeah, I started doing that too. Both Marzi and I were taking ivermectin and fenbendazole for like the last 2 years, every day.
Well,
I know. Well, I started hearing that, so that's what I started thinking. Well, let's see. And ivermectin was modeled after black walnut hull, wormwood, and cloves. And so I got those and I powderize them and put them into capsules, and we just take them the first 5 days of the month now. just 5 days out of the month, and then we're good for the rest of the month. The fenbendazole, the primary reason I got so emotional about fenbendazole when I first heard it, because most supplements and stuff, it comes in whatever 100 milligrams, 200 milligrams, 250 milligrams, 500 milligrams. Well, fenbendazole comes in 444 milligrams. I thought it brought a tear to my eye. But fenbendazole is just modeled after pumpkin seeds.
Exactly. And I feed my dogs pumpkin seeds just about every day. But it has to be the raw pumpkin
Yeah.
seeds.
Yeah.
You don't want to get, you don't want to give your dogs the shelled ones that have been coated in God knows what for salt. We don't know what they're really using. Just get the raw pumpkin seeds, and you can grind those up and put it in their food. Sometimes I just give it to them as a little snack, like a little treat. Hey, you guys want a treat? Come here. Give them a few.
Yep, it's really pretty simple.
And that is actually the cure for pumpkin seeds is the cure for heartworm as well.
Right.
Yes. I put that
I
on.
hadn't heard that.
One of our foods, has a lot of pumpkin in it, and pumpkin is really good for dogs as long as it's, natural. And like you said, the pumpkin seeds are fabulous.
Yes. And
and
I grind those up. I grind those up and put it on the yogurt too.
That's great.
Yeah.
The dogs love that taste. They love the yogurt too.
Yes.
I feed my dogs regular human food. So I cook for them. They get all organic. They're very, very healthy. And if I knew back then what I know now, I never would have fed any of my dogs kibble.
Yeah. Well, but people don't know, and that's one of the problems. They don't know. They think they're doing the right thing, and they trust the sources. I mean, heck, when we were kids, we never had a dog with cancer. We never had a dog with diabetes, with allergies. I mean, we've got dogs on freaking Prozac. That, unfortunately, it's just because we've been led down a really bad path. Jeannie 44 Laptiski is asking about fleas. I would definitely go with Wondercide. Wondercide is an all-natural repellent. There's a lot of all-natural repellents on the market that you can use. They smell great. They're great for the skin and coat. They have wonderful oils in them. Stay away from the flea collars. Stay away from all of the pharmaceuticals, because it's just putting poison on the animal. And yeah, I lived in California. I know how bad fleas can be. Where I live now, fleas wouldn't dare live here. They're smarter than that. It's too hot where I live. But it is a really tough thing for you to deal with. But I would use Wondercide. You can buy it on Amazon. It's a great product. We're working on coming up with something pretty exciting. Hopefully within the next year, we'll have it ready. But until then, Wondercide, probably the great way to go.
And a great shampoo that is primarily essential oils and such is Tropa Clean.
Yeah.
Tropa Clean.
I've heard of that.
I love the smell of it. It kills these fleas on contact ticks too. It's my favorite. It smells so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. Well, thank you guys. I have to jump off. I have a 6:30. I'm on the West Coast here. I have a 6:30. I have to get on.
Before you drop, we want to include Nadine. Nadine, you got anything that you want to ask, or any comments you want to make before Diana drops off? We wrap things up.
We put her to sleep.
Nadine, I'm sorry.
Wake up.
Nadine, please pick up a white paging telephone. Nadine, please. Okay. Diana, thank you for your minutes. And please give Kristen my best.
All I can say for all of you guys.
We appreciate you. You're an important part of what's happening. Thank you.
We appreciate you guys. I appreciate your courage. I appreciate your tenacity in getting this thing done. I have been watching as many of your broadcasts as I can, and your energy has been unbelievable, and good for you guys. The torch has been passed to you, and you're doing a great job. And for everybody that's listening, share. Get this out there. 1 leads to 2, leads to 4, leads to 10, and the next thing you know, we've got an army, and that's what we need.
Roger that.
Thank you, Diana. We appreciate you
Bye.
too.
Thank
be
you.
in
We
touch.
love it when you come on our show.
Oh, we love it too. It's so much fun. Thank you guys, and we'll be on the first Wednesday, I think, of the month. So
Excellent.
Yes. Yes.
We'll be in contact.
awesome. Thanks,
Let's see if
guys.
we can play us out
Yeah,
here.
let's see me play a song. Let's play us out. Hang on.
Wait. Before we play us out,
Well, God bless you, beautiful people.
Go ahead, Gan.
no, I was just about to say Z should play us out. Thank you for doing that while I was tending to chickens. Go ahead.
All right. Here we go.
Well, God bless you, beautiful people. This song goes out to Amanda and the family. Of course, Mike Penny, everybody's friend. Marcy even put a little stock car on a checkerboard, or on a little checkered flag over here. Earth to God, come in God. I know you're there, hearing our prayers wherever you are. We need you now. Send your love down. Take away the pain in your holy name. We ask this now. Yeah, we need your light, we need your love to heal the world you made. So save us now in our darkest hour with your amazing grace. Earth to God, come in God. We're holding on, but not for long. Pull us close to the Holy Ghost, keep us strong. If we need your light, we need your love to heal the world you made. So save us now in our darkest hour with your amazing grace. Earth to God, come in God. 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 We need your light, we need your love to heal the world you made. So save us now in our darkest hour with your amazing grace. Earth to God, come in God. Earth to God, come in God. God bless you guys.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And we will catch everybody tomorrow. Everybody have a good night.